Alright, man. So look, Jussie Smollett loses his appeal, which could lead him to be going back to jail. So I'm gonna go ahead and read some of this information about what's going on with Jussie Smollett, man. But anyway, 11:51 a.m. Pacific time. Special prosecutor Dan Webb tells TMZ that I've always struggled with that word right here. Appellate court ruled on very issue Mr. Smollett raised in our favor and against him. This was a resounding and profound victory for us today. Having a dissenting voice in the ruling is not uncommon. The decision by the appeals court is final. He concluded what happens next is Mr. Smollett can file a petition for a higher appeal to the Illinois Supreme Court. This is purely discretionary, meaning the court does not have to hear his appeal. He lost all legal right to an appeal with today's decision. If the Supreme Court decides to hear his appeal, there will be briefs filed and a hearing date set. If not, then the case goes back to the trial court, which will execute his sentence. At 10:05 a.m. Pacific time, Jussie Smollett and his team aren't going down without a fight, a rep tells us. We wish to highlight that the decision was divided, with Justice Lau offering a detailed analysis in favor of Smollett. We are preparing to escalate this matter to the Supreme Court armed with a substantial body of evidence. Jussie Smollett just took a big L in court because of his conviction of his hoax attacks was just upheld. An Illinois appeals court handed down a ruling Friday with the 3-judge panel voting 2-1 upholding Jussie's conviction, according to new legal documents obtained by TMZ. The key to Jussie's appeal is an argument he could not be prosecuted because after the initial indictment, Cook County State Attorney Kim Foxx decided not to prosecute the case. That drew enormous criticism, and a special prosecutor was appointed who ultimately went to the grand jury that indicted him again. Let's see what this is about.
He's coming out.
All right, let's continue. The 2 justices who upheld the conviction said that the decision not to move forward with the case was not equivalent to an agreement never to charge him. The one dissenting judge said Fox's decision to not prosecute was in effect and promise to Jussie the case was over. With the ruling, Jussie appears likely to return to Chicago jail to complete his 150-day sentence. Hold up. Let's see what this is about. Let's see what this is about. So if you don't know, okay, bet I think they're gonna say why all of this has happened. I was about to explain, but let me go ahead and play this.
So the jury found you guilty, and I've sentenced you as I have. You have the right to appeal the findings and rulings of the court, or ask your sentence to be modified. To do those things, you need to file a notice of appeal in writing within 30 days. You may also file a motion to modify your sentence, which would have to be filed in writing within 30 days. Anything not stated in those filings are waived for purposes of appeal. You cannot afford lawyers or transcripts. They would be provided for your charge. But I did not do this.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Transcripts, they would be provided for your charge.
Let it play.
Do you have any questions?
No, I would just like to say to Your Honor that I am not suicidal. That's what I would like to say.
Okay.
I am not suicidal.
Okay.
I am not suicidal. I am innocent, and I am not suicidal.
So he's saying that because, listen, I'm sorry to cut it off, but he was saying that because, people be going to jail and ended up dying in jail, allegedly, right? So that's why he doing that, but go ahead.
If I did this, then it means that I stuck my fist in the fears of Black Americans in this country for over 400 years and the fears of the LGBTQ community. Your Honor, I respect you and I respect the jury, but I did not do this. and I am not suicidal. And if anything happens to me when I go in there, I did not do it to myself. And you must all know that. I respect you, Your Honor. I respect your decision. Jail time, I am not suicidal.
Okay. Mr. Uche, let me inquire, are there any post-sentencing motions you care to present right now?
Yes, Judge.
Yes. All right. Defendants remanded to the custody of the sheriff. Court is adjourned.
So I'm gonna be honest with you. Part of me wants to be like, nigga, ain't no who gonna do something to you, son? Don't nobody wanna do nothing to you, cuz ain't nothing about to happen to you. You ain't Jeffrey Epstein, nigga. But then again, I gotta be real. The law be doing some fishy stuff, man. The law be doing some crazy shit to the celebrities. People ended up dying. They even do it to the goddamn regular ass, nobody ass civilians. So then again, I ain't gonna sit here and say that because you never fucking know. These motherfuckers might fuck around, try to get this man offed up in that jank. But whatever. Let's continue. Remember, Jussie was initially convicted in 2022, spending 6 days in Cook County Jail before being released while trying to get his sentence overturned. Now Jussie's come up empty, but his legal team has the option to appeal this decision in the Illinois Supreme Court, which would then decide on whether to hear the case. So he's already just tried in a normal court. He's trying, and they have the decision to take it to Supreme Court, which is a higher court, right? Let's continue. Okay, if I did it, let's play this. Let's play this.
I've always
man. Okay, these ads, boy. TMZ in the ads. Hey, subscribe to my account. Subscribe, man. Subscribe real quick, man. I need to keep saying that. Listen, also too, I'm about to start doing lives, bro. I'm about to start getting on lives. I gotta jump on my lives because a lot of people be commenting on my stuff, and I think y'all should actually interact with me and talk to me on my lives, man. So just watch my lives. Watch out for my lives. I'm gonna give a specific time and day where I'm gonna start doing it. But go ahead, run this thing.
It's like finding out that someone is exactly the opposite of who they claim to be. Mm-hmm. And so if I had done this, I'd be a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And I don't think that
Now, I'm sorry I'm stopping it, but listen, they're saying that he said that he had got attacked by somebody, some racist people that was homophobic, right? And they attacked him. That's what was said. But then it's being said after the fact that he lied and made the whole situation up, and that's what they're convicting him about. So now let me play it.
I don't think that is that's not really questionable. Mm-hmm. So when people are like, yes, there's a lot of other stuff happening, but that would be really, and again, it's something that I wanted to say, if I had done something like this, it would mean that I stuck my fist in the pain of Black Americans in this country for over 400 years. Mm-hmm. We're not even talking about in Africa, because that's an even deeper, larger conversation. It would mean that I stuck my fist in the fears of the LGBTQ community all over the world. Mm-hmm. I'm not that motherfucker. Never have been. Don't need to be. Didn't need to have some sort of rise in his career. I was on the up and up. I was coming from New York, from doing a table read for my dream role in a Broadway show. I had just optioned the rights to the authorized autobiography of Alvin Ailey. I had just, all of these things that I was creating, there would be no reason for me to do some dumb, corny shit like that. Uh-huh. But people are going to believe what they believe, and what I have to do is I have to keep working.
You have to keep working, and
what I know for sure is every single thing that I auditioned for during that period, I lost. They took it from me. But every single thing that I created myself is being created. Never again will anybody be able to pull my life from under me like a rug.
There you go. Jussie Smollett. Come on, man.
Onward.
All right. So that's his. Oh, we got more. Oh, I ain't even. Okay, continue. During his appeal, Jussie dropped new music, directed a film, Vivica A. Fox, worked out with Taraji P. Henson, and went to rehab and shaved his head. Jussie Smollett likely headed back to jail. Let's play this real quick. But like I was saying, while this little ad is running, listen, we gonna jump on a live, man. I'm gonna make a specific day, and I need to start talking to y'all, man, for real.
Smollett saga continues in a very bad way for him. He has lost his appeal of his conviction, a conviction that is supposed to land him in prison
for
150 days.
Right. I remember he was sentenced, did 6 days, they appealed, and they actually released him while the appeal was sort of running its course.
This appeal has lasted a long
You're not
time.
kidding.
It's way longer than I would ever expected that it would.
Right.
Now, he is still maintaining his innocence, even though he's been convicted. I think it's fair to say in the court of public opinion, most people believe the verdict was right on.
Yeah,
but he now faces the possibility of being remanded very quickly to serve that time behind bars. There is a chance. I mean, they're talking about that they're going to appeal this to the Supreme Court.
Yes.
What is interesting about that is that the prosecutors could ask that he be remanded immediately. Now, what I'm guessing his lawyers are going to do is file documents saying we want to stay the prison sentence until the Supreme Court of Illinois rules.
And let's be honest, that would make the most sense. If they've delayed the sentence, serving the sentence this entire time, years at this point, why not just let him take it to the United States Supreme Court? If that's
it won't be.
Or the Illinois Supreme Court, excuse me.
Court.
And let them make their decision. That would be the end of the line as far as his appeals go, and then serves the sentence. It makes the most sense.
Yeah.
And his team has pointed out to us guys, because this was a 2-to-1 decision. They say, look, one judge ruled totally in his favor, so you know that they're going to take those arguments to the Illinois Supreme Court. Also remember back in October, we broke the story that he was in outpatient rehab. So maybe this is going to help him and say, look, he's a different guy. He's getting the help that he needs. Although he'd have to maybe admit some guilt in that and say, look, it was this that was influencing me. This is why I had these issues. This is why this happened. It's a tricky situation.
This literally happened minutes ago.
Yeah.
Did the appeals court issue a written ruling where they explain their reasoning, both the two that voted to affirm and the one that voted not to? Have they actually written an opinion?
So, he won. He convinced 2 out of the 3 appellate judges that he should win. A lot of the argumentation was over whether, when they first decided not to prosecute him, whether the prosecutors could be held to that decision. Because you'll recall, he was initially not prosecuted, then a special prosecutor was appointed who brought the charges, and the majority opinion said it's okay, the conviction still stands. The dissent is interesting because the dissent said, look, the spirit of not prosecuting him was that he relied on not being prosecuted over this, and we should uphold the prosecutor's promise in that respect. You'll remember
this is
Bill
like Cosby. This is very much like Cosby.
It's very similar, and Bill Cosby's promise was upheld. That's why Cosby's conviction was overturned. So it's interesting to see the dissent in this case sounds a lot like the majority in the Cosby case. There are some nuances.
Help me out here. What was it what promise was made to Jussie that would bar a prosecution? Because I don't recall that.
Yeah, it wasn't as specific of a promise as in the Cosby case, but it was called a nolle pros, which is just a fancy way of saying we're not going to prosecute you. But remember, there was so much public pressure that they appointed a special prosecutor who wasn't bound to the same terms of what the original prosecutor said.
But what was the no prosecution argument? I mean, I don't remember. In fact, I remember the exact opposite. I remember that the DA, that charges were filed in the case, I think based on the grand jury, and then dropped by the DA. Was that what was going on here that we're talking about?
Yeah, remember there was a conflict of interest involved in the case. You remember the prosecutor might have had some connections
to Jussie.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Might have had some sympathies over that decision, or overcharging him and then undercharging him because there were some sympathies towards him due to a relationship, I believe, with the Obamas and things of that nature.
So I think it's important to say that even the one dissenting vote here had nothing to do with whether Jussie was not guilty of the crime. It had more to do with promises by prosecutors than it did the evidence.
Tim Parham from Chicago.
All right, so yeah, they just running on, man.
What in the Carly Russell was going on? I mean, I get it. Being from Chicago, you know what I'm saying, it's a lot of real stuff going on, you know what I'm saying? A lot of murders, robberies, home invasion scams, car crack, and all of that. And he played in them people's face, wasting their time. Faking getting beat to a bloody pulp by two muscle-bound Nigerians after a nice cold-cut trio sandwich from Subway is crazy. Stress to everybody involved.
I love the way you said that.
But look, man, this is where I'm really getting at with all of this. Do y'all think he's lying? Y'all tell me. You know what I'm saying? Because this is something that has been said. A lot of people think that he was lying. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, if you know me, one thing I'm going to say is I don't know for a fact about nothing. I'm not going to say nothing without me knowing something. You know what I'm saying? Seemed like they already went through litigation to prove that the man was lying. So if he's a liar, then goddamn it, you's a liar. But bruh, I'ma just be 100 with y'all. Where's this energy at with all the motherfuckers that be lying other times? Do they do this to the little white women that lie about getting raped and they get proved that they didn't get raped? I'm gonna have to cut those R words out. They got R worded. I'm gonna cut those R words out. But do they do that to the little white girls that say they got R worded and everybody find out that they lying? Do they do that about other people that sit there and lie about things and then get proven that they lied? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a victim of such thing. I've been lied on, and then the evidence proved otherwise that incriminated the person that was lying on me of doing something unlawful. Was any charges brought against her? They want this man to do 100. How many days? 100 and what? Let me see. It was like 120, 150, something like that. I can't even find it. I'm not about to look too hard. But hold up, matter of fact, it's right here. It's right here. 150 days in jail. Which I believe, nigga, if you're lying, son, if you try to use the court, send his ass to jail. But also send the rest of them motherfuckers that be lying and using the court. If they caught lying in jail, your ass need to go to jail, man. Like, you know, if you get caught lying trying to get somebody in jail, get your ass in jail too, goddammit. But anyway, you know what's crazy? Speaking of jail, y'all know the rapper YNW Melly? Why my man mom over here saying she created her OnlyFans, or she going to? Go watch that video right here. Subscribe, and I'm out. Subscribe.
Hey, would you go somewhere?